You've been told your entire life to be a gentleman, to listen carefully to her words, to respect what she says, and to act accordingly. Your father told you, society told you, movies told you. And I am here to tell you that this well-intentioned advice is the very reason you are feeling frustrated, confused, and consistently failing with women. It's not your fault. You've been given the wrong map for the territory. You were taught to play chess on a board where she is playing an entirely different, more ancient game. You see, men operate on a logical, verbal operating system. A leads to be, cause and effect. Our words are our primary tool for conveying intent. But female attraction, that is broadcast on an entirely different frequency. It is primal, emotional, and communicated almost entirely through nonverbal channels. This isn't a flaw in the system, it's a fundamental biological disconnect. Her words are often a carefully constructed social script, a form of verbal camouflage designed to navigate the world safely and maintain social harmony. It's what her modern logical brain tells her she should say, but her signals, the subtle shift in her posture, the dilation of her pupils, the specific tonality of her laugh, that is the raw, unfiltered broadcast of her desire. It's the language of her biology, not her social conditioning. For the next few minutes, I am going to hand you the decoder ring to this secret language. I will teach you how to bypass the static of her words and tune directly into the broadcast of her attraction. This knowledge will give you an advantage so profound, you'll wonder how you ever navigated the world without it. To grasp why her signals are the only truth that matters, you must first accept a fundamental reality. You are not interacting with a single unified mind. You are communicating with two distinct, and often conflicting, entities operating within her. Think of it as the two brains theory. First, you have the modern brain, the neocortex. This is the logical, analytical, and socially conditioned part of her mind. It's the part that went to college, that worries about what her friends will think, and that constructs the polite social scripts she uses every day. When she tells you, we should just be friends, or I'm just not in a place to date right now, you are hearing a direct broadcast from her modern brain. It is logical, safe, and often, completely irrelevant to attraction. Then there is the primal brain, the limbic system. This is the ancient, powerful engine of emotion, instinct, and survival. It has been running the show for millions of years. It doesn't understand logic or social excuses. It operates on a single ruthless question. Is this man a high-value survivor who triggers feelings of excitement and safety? This is the brain that controls attraction, and it does not communicate with words. It communicates with signals. So how does this primal brain broadcast its verdict? It doesn't send a text message. It uses chemistry. When she feels a genuine spark of attraction, her primal brain floods her system with a powerful cocktail of hormones. A surge of dopamine creates a feeling of pleasure in your presence, making her laugh more easily. A spike in norepinephrine heightens her focus on you. A release of oxytocin creates a subconscious urge to bond, compelling her to get closer or to initiate a subtle touch. That glance from across the room, the way she plays with her hair when you speak, the slight parting of her lips, these are not random gestures. They are involuntary, physical manifestations of her internal hormonal broadcast. You are literally watching her neurochemical state in real time. This brings us to the most vital secret you must understand, the imperative of plausible deniability. From an evolutionary standpoint, it has always been incredibly risky for a woman to be direct with her sexual interest. A direct advance toward the wrong man could lead to social ruin or physical danger. So her biology developed a genius filtering mechanism, sending signals that are strong enough for a confident, socially attuned man to notice, but subtle enough for her to deny if he isn't the right choice. "Oh, I was just being friendly," is the ultimate safety net, powered by her modern brain. This is why you will encounter the classic contradiction. The conversation is electric. She's leaning in, her eyes are locked on yours, she laughs and playfully touches your forearm. And in the middle of this, she says, "My boyfriend would find this so funny." The amateur hears the word boyfriend, and immediately ejects. He heard the words, the social script. The man who understands the truth sees the signal, the sustained engagement, the physical contact, the vibrant energy. The words are a test from her modern brain. The signals are an invitation from her primal brain. She is subconsciously asking, even with this piece of social resistance, are you confident enough to continue? Leading? Do you have the courage to read the real message? Her words are the smoke screen. Her signals are the fire. You must learn to ignore the smoke to find the source of the heat. Theory is useless without application. We will now move from the clinical to the practical. I am going to give you a foundational vocabulary for this new language you're learning. We'll divide it into 3 categories: the invitation, the test, and the dismissal. First, let's decode the invitation. These are her primal brain's green lights, what we call indicators of interest, or IOIs. They are often subtle, but they are unmistakable once you know what to look for. The most powerful are the physical signals. Words can lie, but the body cannot. Watch for proximity. Does she find reasons to close the distance between you? Does she subconsciously mirror your posture, leaning in when you lean in? Look for preening behaviors, a subconscious desire to look her best for you. She'll play with her hair, smooth her dress, or touch her necklace. And most importantly, eye contact. Is it a fleeting, polite glance, or is it a deep, sustained gaze that she holds for a second too long? That is a direct invitation. Then there are the verbal signals that aren't about the words. The actual content of the conversation is secondary. Listen to how she speaks. When a woman is genuinely engaged, her vocal tonality often rises slightly. She will laugh easily and frequently, even at your jokes that aren't particularly funny. This is her nervous system signaling comfort and excitement. She will also ask you qualifying questions. So, what do you do? Or are you always this confident? She isn't just making small talk. She is actively gathering data, trying to figure you out. Imagine the classic bar scene. A woman is across the room with her friends. Her words say nothing to you. She is fully engaged in their conversation. But every few minutes, her eyes scan the room and lock with yours. That is not an accident. That is a signal. It is a nonverbal summons, an invitation for a man with the courage to approach. Next, you must learn to identify the test. A test is not a malicious game. It is a subconscious filter, a congruence test to see if your external confidence matches your internal core. Her primal brain needs to know if you are for real. The most common is the verbal challenge, the shit test. She'll say something like, "I bet you use that line on all the girls." The weak man gets defensive. He stammers, "No, I don't, I just thought you were special." He fails. The high-value response is to remain unbothered, even amused. A simple, confident smirk and a reply like, "Only the ones with good taste," flips the script and passes the test. There is also the compliance test, where she'll ask you for a small favor early on. "Can you go get me a drink?" Or "Can you hold my purse?" Constant compliance signals you are eager to please, not a leader. The correct response is often playful non-compliance. And finally, the logistics test. "I'm really busy this week." The amateur hears rejection. The man who understands signals hears a request for leadership. His response is not to ask, "Well, when are you free?" but to state, "No problem. We'll do Thursday at 8. He leads. He assumes the sale. Finally, and most crucially for your own self-respect, you must learn to recognize the dismissal. These are indicators of disinterest, or IODs. Wasting time here is the single biggest mistake men make. The signs are obvious. Minimal eye contact, her body and feet are angled away from you, she's constantly checking her phone, she gives terse, one-word answers. Her primal brain has made its decision, and it is a no. Here is the critical lesson. When you are met with a wall of IODs, you do not try to convince her. You do not plead your case. You do not try harder. That is low-value behavior. The most powerful, attractive thing you can do is to recognize the data, smile politely, and withdraw your attention. You say, "It was nice meeting you," and you walk away. This demonstrates ultimate self-respect. It communicates that your attention is a gift, and it is not given where it is not welcome. By learning this lexicon, you cease to be a passive participant in the dark. You become an active observer, reading the reality of the situation, not the fiction of her words. So we arrive at the final mandate. The lesson is simple, but it will demand that you rewire your entire perception of reality. From this moment forward, your primary mode of gathering information in the dance of attraction must shift from your ears to your eyes. You must stop being a passive listener, trapped by the fog of her words, and become an active clinical observer of reality. Trust the data your eyes are giving you over the stories your ears are being told. Her body language, her tonality, her proximity, this is the objective truth. Her words are merely the subjective narrative. Let me be absolutely clear. This knowledge is not about manipulation, it is about fluency. It is the difference between blindly following a flawed map and learning to read the terrain for yourself. When you understand the true language being spoken, you cease to be reactive. You no longer have to guess, hope, or beg for her attraction. You can lead the interaction with a calm, quiet confidence because you are operating with superior information. You stop asking for attraction and you start creating the conditions for it to ignite. That is the ultimate strategic advantage. And so, you stand at a crossroads. The choice is stark, and it is entirely yours. You can click away from this video, go back to the world you knew, and continue to live in a state of confusion. You can take her words at face value, analyze them for hours, and face the same gnawing frustration when her actions never seem to match. That is one path. Or you can accept this fundamental, biological reality. You can commit yourself to becoming a student of signals, a man who sees the truth behind the social performance. You can choose to become the architect of your own romantic destiny, rather than a victim of misunderstanding. Learn this language, or prepare for a lifetime of disappointment. If this knowledge resonates with the truth you've always felt but couldn't articulate, then subscribe to this channel. Share this with a man who needs to hear it. The secrets we've unveiled today are only the beginning. Now, I want you to comment below. What is the most blatant signal you now realize you completely missed because you were too busy listening to her words? I want to hear your stories. Tell me, what do you believe is more revealing? The one signal she shows you, or the 1,000 words she tells you?